I am flooded with like a flurry of different emotions, and I can't figure out what's real and what's not. Change happening in my life at that time, and I really, really needed some mental, emotional, spiritual guidance. I got back into therapy. I couldn't be with my therapist all year last year because I ended up spending the entire year outside of the United States.
Picture this. The house lights are down, the orchestra hums with anticipation, and every seat in London's grand old Palladium sits as empty as a politician's promise. Yet somehow, backstage buzzes like a beehive on espresso. After 3 days of half-baked headlines and cryptic tweets, Rachel Zegler has seemingly vanished into the theatrical Bermuda Triangle, only to be allegedly replaced by none other than Anya Taylor-Joy, the internet's reigning empress of wide-eyed intensity and unnervingly symmetrical cheekbones. Naturally, it takes just one shaky vertical TikTok posted by an Usher's cousin's roommate to hurl the entire fandom into a collective spiral. In the grainy clip, a tall blonde Eva darts across stage left, spins, belts an uncannily perfect Buenos Aires, then bows to an empty mezzanine as rehearsal staff scatter like toddlers chasing glitter.
I realized what a dark headspace I had been in and how LA was making me feel like I was still there, because LA is a really hard place to be, especially if you're a New Yorker. I think it just, the adjustment is so much different.
Cue millions of pause buttons, frame-by-frame breakdowns, and red-circled screenshots that resemble paranormal investigations more than theater gossip. Within minutes, the Not Mea Vida is trending. Twitter sleuths launch into earlobe comparisons to prove it's the chess-playing darling from the Queen's Gambit, while someone, inevitably, claims their cousin at Vogue swears Anya ordered vintage Pyron heels 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, Josh and I have been operating and living together through the chaos.
Josh and I have been operating and living together, and not to sound codependent, but I miss him. You know, actually, I resent that. I resent the fact that I felt the need to stay.
Meanwhile, poor Rachel's socials have gone quieter than a mime convention. The once hyperactive Instagram story, a steady stream of mood board selfies and wholesome rehearsal snaps, is now wiped cleaner than a celebrity search history. Even more suspicious, she's unfollowed the costume designer, the choreographer, and, brace yourself, the official Evita account. A modern-day scarlet letter, screaming professional divorce. Hollywood publicists start spinning faster than a Coachella DJ, pumping out carefully worded statements about routine understudy transitions and creative evolution. Phrases that say absolutely nothing, yet somehow still fail to calm anyone.
Whenever I talk about, I've been away from Josh for 4 days now, and I miss him, obviously. He's like the best.
By tea time, every showbiz blog from Los Angeles to Lahore is screeching about producers eyeing fresh star power, because nothing screams fiscal responsibility like swapping leads 3 weeks before opening night. Just when it seems the narrative can't possibly get any juicier, the Daily Mail drops a bombshell. A source close to the production claims ticket pre-sales have been, quote, underwhelming. A genteel euphemism for catastrophic. Allegedly, the 12-week run, kicking off Friday, June 14th, is facing more empty rows than a midweek matinee of Cats. So, the money men convene an emergency brunch, decide that Salvation demands a splashy new headline, and call Anya's agent faster than you can say box office insurance policy. You seem to be dominating the world of musicals. You're doing Evita in London, right? That's big. Andrew Lloyd Webber fan right over there. Of course, the article cites 0 names and provides fewer receipts than a cash-only bodega. But when did facts ever get in the way of a good theatrical plot twist? Over in Fanland, battle lines form with the tactical speed of a Roman legion. On one flank, the Zegler loyalists, armed with Disney ballad compilations and fierce conviction. They insist she's being sabotaged by a patriarchal press still holding a grudge for that time she dared to speak her mind.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
On the opposite ridge, the Taylor-Joy Brigade floods the timeline with breathless Photoshop mock-ups. Anya draped in diamonds, commanding the balcony like a porcelain Napoleon. Memes spawn hourly. One shows a solemn Rachel dissolving Thanos style into dust, while Anya materializes beneath neon letters reading, "Insert coin to continue." A fake variety cover circulates next, boldly headlined "Checkmated," with chess pieces dramatically toppling across the Evita logo. somewhere in the digital crossfire, a rogue Tumblr account drops an animated Sims-based rivalry timeline. And honestly, it feels more accurate than half the documentaries on Netflix.
Video is gonna get taken out of context, and I know that at this point I can't really stop people from doing that because that's what my whole existence on the internet is, just being taken out of context and stuff.
Backstage, insiders whisper that the creative team is re-examining storytelling choices. Translation, they're frantically juggling schedules, costume fittings, and legal fine print. Replacing a lead this late isn't like swapping batteries. It's like changing an airplane engine mid-flight, while passengers sip overpriced wine and wonder why their peanuts never arrived. Your family's like Disney obsessed, right? Even your dad? Yes, my parents' wedding song was A Whole New World from Aladdin. Wow. Meanwhile, stagehands leak juicy tidbits about overnight alterations, including a freshly pinned wardrobe board labeled ATJ, while Rachel's costumes are quietly moved to something ominously titled Archive. Not quite the theatrical version of sleeping on the couch, but close. Still, the producers stay chipper, insisting the cast shuffle is merely a reflection of the show's dynamic creative heartbeat. A poetic way of saying panic mode was activated somewhere between mimosas and the check. And if you lean in close to the industry gossip mill, you'll hear an even juicier rumor. Anya's team allegedly agreed to just a 2-month limited engagement, betting on scarcity to nudge ticket prices into next mortgage territory. Imagine paying triple digits to witness Hollywood's latest crisis management experiment. Call it experiential schadenfreude. Naturally, producers are thrilled. Why sell 12 weeks of lukewarm interest when you can fog up 8 weeks of sellout? Hysteria and toast your margins at the Ivy? In that spirit, half the marketing department is allegedly redesigning posters, muting brunette color palettes in favor of smoky platinum gradients, while the other half drafts due to unforeseen artistic developments, emails sure to confuse and alarm loyal patrons. It's going to be amazing. My West End debut? I'm so excited. You've done a lot of Broadway, right? Yeah, I just wrapped 20 weeks of Shakespeare. Season ticket holders survived it. Spare a thought for Jamie Lloyd, the avant-garde director known for minimalist sets and maximalist headlines. He's probably sipping espresso in a shadowy corner, quietly cackling. Whether Rachel stays, exits, or holographically merges with Anya in some surreal double-casting experiment, the production has already scored more free publicity than a royal wedding streaker. This is, after all, the same industry that turned Macbeth superstitions into marketing strategy. Chaos isn't just tolerated, it's practically a line item. And somewhere, Andrew Lloyd Webber is likely lounging at his country estate, sipping tea as Twitter does all the promo work for him. With every refresh, his licensing fees climb faster than you can hum "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." He doesn't even have to lift a finger.
Rachel Zegler discriminated against Asians on the red carpet, refusing to take pictures with any Asian face and giving her the finger. She also posted an angry letter to Oscar for not inviting her to the Oscars. The Oscars sent her an invitation overnight.
If watching Hollywood unravel in a chaotic mix of slow motion and fast forward is your guilty pleasure, go ahead. Hit that subscribe button faster than producers recast their leading ladies. It's free and might just save you from another doom scrolling spiral later. Now back to the circus. Reporters are camped outside the stage door, hoping to catch a flash of Rachel's unmistakable curls or Anna's trademark oversized shades. But security has deployed enough umbrellas to restage Mary Poppins, shielding every silhouette like classified intel. Paparazzi managed to snap a single wrist emerging from a black SUV. Betting pools open instantly. Whose wrist is it? This, apparently, is what society has come to. Meanwhile, over on TikTok, an alleged vocal warm-up recording leaks. Fans pounce, analyzing vibrato patterns like forensic scientists to identify the mystery singer, blissfully ignoring the fact it's likely just an intern testing a mic. Still, the frenzy works. Overnight ticket sales surge, once again proving controversy remains the only algorithm live theater needs.
And if you've ever seen Evita, it is a challenging part to play. And I don't think she has the temerity, the stamina, you pick a word here, in order to pull it off going, every single day that the theater is open.
The silence from Rachel's camp only grows louder. Once a performer who live-tweeted her coffee order, she's now vanished from the internet entirely. Naturally, conspiracy theories explode. Some speculate she's negotiating a Hollywood blockbuster, and choosing to step back voluntarily. Others insist she quit over creative disputes, whether about choreography, tote bag sizes, or the Ghost Lights lumens. The most outlandish theory claims Disney secretly recalled her for emergency Snow White reshoots, a story clearly concocted by someone who thinks mouse-eared executives run MI6. The truth is probably far less exciting, but dull rarely goes viral. Meanwhile, Anna sticks to her signature enigmatic silence, broken only by serene paparazzi snapshots of her leaving a Pilates studio in head-to-E sustainable linen. Her PR team stays quiet. The internet does the heavy lifting, already hailing her as theater's radiant savior before she's even set foot on stage.
Zegler has been labeled a PR nightmare, and we can see why. The Walt Disney Company seems to be trying to keep her totally hidden, as we haven't seen any interviews regarding Snow White since the controversies surfaced. Of course, people now are just waiting for her next slip-up. What other outrageous thing will she say? But I have a suspicion that Zegler is getting some serious brainwashing media training, so she can keep saying the same things.
One cheeky columnist likened the frenzy to trading a Tesla for a vintage Rolls-Royce, conveniently forgetting the Rolls needs custom parts while the Tesla's still on lease. Late Wednesday, the theater finally dropped a fresh statement. Rehearsals are progressing beautifully. Opening night remains on schedule, and further casting details will be shared in due course. If corporate vagueness were an art form, this statement would hang in the Louvre. But tucked inside the usual PR fluff is a subtle shift. The phrase starring Rachel Zegler is nowhere to be found, replaced instead by the delightfully ambiguous, led by an extraordinary company. Journalists swarmed that omission like seagulls spotting chips, while ticket resale sites quietly nudged prices upward, hedging their bets that the blonde queen's debut will turn front row seats into prime flex currency.
What is it like for you now, having all of this? I think it's a lot of pressure, right?
It's definitely a lot of pressure, but I surround myself with very good people who keep me grounded and try to just stay as true to myself as I possibly can.
Yet, amid the spreadsheets and spin, nobody's asking the obvious. Can any actress truly save a show burdened by sky-high expectations, tabloids, and a fandom ready to combust over dress length? Maybe that's the point. Evita has always been a story about obsession, image, power, and public adoration. How fitting that the backstage drama now mirrors the plot more closely than any director dared imagine. If Rachel returns, she'll be the wronged heroine rising from the ashes. If Anna takes the reins, she's the glamorous outsider sweeping into charm a nation of anxious theatergoers. Either way, the producers win, social media thrives, and we all get front row seats to a drama none of us asked for. But we'll binge anyway until the curtain finally rises. So, what's next? Will Rachel stage a triumphant Instagram Live tearfully, vowing renewed commitment and hitting higher belt notes? Will Anna glide through a confetti cannon at preview night, collecting standing ovations simply for existing? Or will the Palladium pull the most theatrical move of all, double casting, the role and letting audiences play glamorous Russian roulette, wondering which diva leads the uprising each night? For now, keep your paws and fingers limbered and your popcorn refills ready. Because in the grand tradition of showbiz, tomorrow's twist is already in rehearsal, and none of us, least of all the paying public, gets a script in advance. If you enjoyed dissecting this spectacle with me, drop a comment sharing which plot twist you're rooting for. See you in the next deliciously chaotic episode, Episode 3.